didn't understand. You all have ways to contact me on Remind and Google Classroom and my email. So if you're getting confused and you need more help, please reach out to me. Let me know. I'm here to help you learn and to do the best that I can. So what is 5D process? Well, 5D process for us is going to be a way to solve problems. So para nosotros, el proceso de 5D va a ser una manera de encontrar la solución a problemas con palabras. And it's like a guess and check, but with better strategy. So es parecido a adivinar y comprobar, pero con una estrategia mejor. This isn't, Miss Shaina, I just threw some numbers out there and guessed. This is, Miss Shaina, I have a way of doing this, and this was what I thought. So there are 5 steps. Hay 5 pasos en este proceso. And those 5 steps, you guessed it, I'll start with the letter D. We're going to have describe and draw. Describe y dibuja. What does the problem mean? How does it look like? And you can also, and please, 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 if you can, draw a picture. If you draw a picture, these problems do go much nicer, especially with anything talking about a shape. Then you're going to define your problem. So you're going to identify each quantity we need a value for. Do. There's going to be some way for you to combine or to do some math to combine those numbers together. Decide, are my values correct, too low, or too high? And then declare. You're going to write your final answer as a complete sentence. And that's a really big piece there because that's how we know we've finished our problem and come to a solution. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and keep going. If you want to go over some of those again, pause the video, back up and rewatch before we move to the next page. But for those of us that are ready to go, we're going to go forward. So here we go. We have a new problem. This problem says the base of a rectangle is 13 centimeters longer than the height. If the perimeter is 58 centimeters, find the base and height of the rectangle. So I want you guys to just take a minute, think about that, pause the video if you need to, and imagine that in your heads. And when you think you have that, think about the picture you're drawing. I know that I'm working with a specific shape, and they said the name of the shape a couple times in here. I have a rectangle. Rectangle, rectangle. So we're going to draw a rectangle. Could we do this doing other ideas? Sure. Could we ignore the shape? Sure. But a picture helps a lot. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw my rectangle. And you know, I'm even going to make that slightly bigger. There we go. There's my rectangle for us to see. Perfect. And I'm going to label my base and my height, because if I don't have labels, then I really don't know where anything is, and that just makes my problem a whole lot harder. So we're going to come here. I'm going to label this side my base and my height. And I'm going to remember that opposite sides are the same. So the side directly opposite from what I've labeled height is another height. So I'm going to label that with the letter H. And the side opposite of my labeled base is another base. So I'm going to label that with letter B. Perfect. So now we need to start talking about numbers. So what do they mean? And I know that the base of my rectangle is 13 centimeters longer than the height. Now, there's a lot of keywords in there for us to pick up on to know what stuff means. The word is tells me I'm talking about equality. And 13 centimeters longer than the height tells me that that base is the bigger side. So my base is the height, but 13 units longer. And think about that for a sec. If you're confused, pause, back up, rewatch. But now I have a way to relate my base and my height together. So I'm going to come in here and we're going to start trying to figure something out. So let's do something, or let's define our variables. We've done our drawing. We're ready to move on. Let's define. I know I'm talking about base and height. How do I know that? Well, look at my picture. In my picture, I have my basis and my heights. So I'm going to start with the height and then list the base. And right underneath here, I've written height plus 13 because I know that is how my base is related to the height. So we're going to make a guess. Let's make our first guess, our first trial. I want to guess that my height was equal to 10. Well, if my base is 13 more than the height, that means my height is 10 plus 13, or 23 units. Now from here, I got to start making some decisions. Did I guess right or not? And how am I going to know that? Well, the problem did give me one other piece of information that we haven't used yet. They said if the perimeter is 58 centimeters. So now I got to think, okay, what's perimeter? Oh, perimeter is the distance around a shape. So I could come over here and say, well, my perimeter, which we're going to represent with the letter P, is base plus height plus base plus height, which I can simplify down to 2 times the base plus 2 times the height. Now with that, I can check my answer. I'm going to plug in the base and the height that I found previously, 10 and 23, to solve for the perimeter. And I got a perimeter of 66. But I need that 66 to equal 58. And since 66 is a bigger number, my guess was too high. So now for my second trial, or my second guess, I need to make sure that my height is a smaller number. Well, I didn't want to go down very far because, 66 was close to 58, so I just went down to 9 for my second attempt. Height of 9 plus 13 for the base gives me 22. 2 times 9 plus 2 times 22 equals 62. Darn it, that was still too high. So I need to guess again with a smaller number. Well, I don't want to keep guessing all day long. I want to be done eventually. So I'm going to guess 5. We're just going to go for it. We're going to go really low. 5 is my height. Well, that would mean that 5 plus 13 equals 18 is the base. So 2 times 5 plus 2 times 18 is equal to 46. I went too far. 46 is below 58. My guess is too low. Well, I have to go up again. Let's go closer to 9 now because 46 was pretty far away from 58. And let's make a guess of 8 for my height. For my fourth guess. Well, then 8 plus 13 equals 21, which would be my base. And 2 times 8 plus 2 times 21, look at that, gives me 58. So we have now figured out what my height and what my base are to the rectangle. So I can make my final statement, that declare step. The base is 21 centimeters long, and the height is 8 centimeters. And there you have it. You have completed your very first problem using the 5D process. Look at the next one, give it a shot, and when you're ready, go to that video and you can see me walk you through it.